Hey, I want to talk about something so specific, like when you help out or be there for a friend and it kind of like bites you in the ass, you know what I mean? So, story time. My friend was feeling really down about like her career and her like life path and her purpose, and we spent like a couple of hours almost every day like talking about like, what she could do. I felt, like I was really trying to beef her up, be confident, look at all the things you've accomplished, girl, like don't be insecure, like you got this kind of stuff. And like basically like coaching her. I was like her hype woman, and she was telling me that like, oh, she wants to quit like her business and like become like a freelance writer. And I was like, dude, that's amazing, that's like the same thing I want to do. You know what, you have to message our old professor. He's local in your area. He definitely is like a good place to start. Even if like you write something, you could ask him about it. Like he might help you like, get it published or whatever. And in like a really like, she was just like, oh, what's he gonna do? And it's like, girl, just trust me. Just message him. Trust me. Like I pushed her to try, and like he literally handed her my dream job. I'm not even fucking with you. Like he literally was like, oh, like I know someone who owns a newspaper and he's looking for a writer to cover stories and interview people. Like, why don't you text him? And it's just like I'm just left feeling so incredibly like I feel like I'm behind the eight ball, I just feel like things are just like it's just so unfair. And I feel guilty about feeling that way because it's like, this is my homie, this is my friend, like I want her to succeed, I want to celebrate her successes, I'm like happy for her, she deserves this. But does that mean I don't deserve it? Like what, you know what I mean? And like while I want to be emotional and while I want to just like kind of like be in my feelings and be depressed and be like, oh, like blah, 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 whatever, like I need to like take a moment and do some shadow work and really like intellectualize and break down what is happening and what I'm feeling. So not for nothing, like all these emotions I'm feeling are valid. Let's just start there. This is like a completely valid emotional and psychological response to, this perfect storm of stimuli. So first things first, it's, the violation of the just world belief, or the just world fallacy. And, most of us are conditioned to believe that, oh, if you just work hard, if you do the right thing, the world is fundamentally fair. If you're just a good person and you do what you're supposed to, you will be rewarded. And that is known as the just world fallacy. And like this situation is a brutal real world reflection or refutation of this, belief. I had the insight, I had the strategy, I had the supporting energy, I did the emotional labor. My friend was skeptical and dismissive, and yet she received the reward. Like it doesn't just feel unfair, like we're like in a playground. It feels like a violation of like this natural order of things. It creates kind of like a cognitive dissonance where you're forced to confront a much harsher reality. The system isn't based on merit, but on luck, timing, and connections. And, the feeling of being left behind or like I'm behind the eight ball is a direct symptom of realizing that, the game is kind of rigged, or at least the rules that I thought I was playing by actually don't really apply. And then the second thing is like, a little bit of resentment, maybe we could call it, like an advisor-advisee relationship. Like I stepped into this role of a coach, of a mentor, of a cheerleader. I invested, literal hours, of time and emotional support and energy and like resources that are not infinite, into building my friend up and making her see like she's capable, she can do this, like, and I essentially gave her the support system that I crave myself, And the core of this pain is like the asymmetry of the investment. Like I gave her the key and she was reluctant to even turn it. And it opened up literally the door to my dream job. It kind of like creates this like really powerful feeling of almost like you're being used. And even though that was not her intention, like I know this girl, she was not using me. That's not what she was doing at all. But, I am left feeling depleted and feeling, kind of like I'm asking myself, like, if I invested this kind of time and energy and confidence building and stuff like that into myself, where would I be? And you know what this is? This is that class, that saying, oh, you're pouring from an empty cup. Yeah, that's literally what it is. Like when you're feeling left behind and you're feeling, unsupported, giving away a level or this level of support to someone can feel like almost like a self-betrayal. So this is how we're going to work through it. And keep in mind that I said work through it, not get over it. It's okay to acknowledge. It's okay to acknowledge like, hey, this is a little bit of an injustice. And it's okay to acknowledge like, maybe I have to reclaim my energy. I also think what's really important is you have to acknowledge and accept the grief. And yeah, I am experiencing grief. I am grieving the loss of an opportunity that technically was never mine. And you know what? It's still a valid form of grief. It's a valid thing to grieve. This is my dream job. I went to school for this, and I'm allowed to be sad. I'm okay to be angry. It's not okay to take it out on my friend. This is something I have to work on. And by acknowledging my feelings and letting them exist without being shamed, that's really important for myself. I have to do that for myself. And not for nothing, I just proved that I have incredible instincts. I correctly identified a path to a dream job. The system might have failed me, but my skills did not. My intuition did not. And if anything, it just shows me that, this powerful advisor role that I give to some people, my friends that, do deserve it to an extent, I also have that power that just exists within me, that skill set, that intuition that I already have. I can use that with the same intensity. I can give that to myself. And I really should. That's something I really need to work on. And honestly, that can turn into I schedule a strategy session with myself where I just sit down, I block out an hour on my calendar and I sit down and I talk to myself the way I would talk to my friend and be like, hey, what are your strengths? Why is your insecurity keeping you, back? What do you want out of, this degree? What is your goals? Things like that. And, also the advice that I gave to her, I really should just write it down, repeat it, and internalize it. I'm just as deserving as she is to be built up and pumped up. And what might be the hardest is, to set a boundary with my energy or my time. And, it's hard when of course you love your friends. Of course you want to be there and you want to be always available. But it's not okay. It's very necessary to pull back. I'm not a free career coach. And I can be a friend without being accessible 24/7 to pump her up or to help her figure out how to send an email, right? And it's not punitive. I'm not punishing her. This is just an act of self-preservation. And I can frame this gently. The next time she asks if I'm available, I can just say let's talk about personal stuff, no work. I'm not very available for brainstorming, but if you want to talk relationships, girl, let's do it, and that's valid. No matter what, it's just really, 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 really important to remember that what you are feeling is valid. You need to validate yourself. It's okay to feel like, hey, this is a little unfair. It's okay. It's profoundly unfair. And you know what? The challenge is to not let the unfairness consume me. I can't get so depressed and so embittered and misplace my emotions onto oh, it's my friend's fault. No, we gotta take a second and acknowledge it. We gotta name it and then take steps to take your power back. Make this power for yourself more than for others. Make yourself your number one client. That's okay. It's okay to prioritize yourself.